Verse 12, Sri Vishnu Sahasranaama Stotra. Vasumanaha Satyaha Samatma Sammitas Samaha Amogaha Pundarikakshaha Vrishakarma Vrishakritihi Vasumanaha Satyaha Samatma Sammitah Samaha Amogaha Pundarikakshaha Vrishakarma Vrishakritihi Vasuhu, he is the dweller in all the beings. Vasumanaha, he has a supremely pure mind without contamination by any desires or vasanas. Satyaha, real, the truth. Samatma, equal mindedness. He has no favorites. He is not against anybody. Sammitaha, he is acceptable to one and all. Samaha, Sa Maha, Ma means Vishnu, Ma means Mother Lakshmi. So Samaha means one who is ever with Mother Lakshmi, Goddess Lakshmi. Amogaha, fulfiller, no prayer, no request to him will ever be futile. Pundarikakshaha, one who dwells in the lotus heart of the pure hearted devotees. Vrishakarma, one who always performs righteous action. Vrishakritihi, the Supreme is the very embodiment of Dharma. He is the personification of Dharma. Vasuhu, dweller, the one who is the very support of all the elements and one who himself is the very essence of all the five great elements known as Pancha Mahabhutas. This is something like the dream made up of our own mind. The very same dream world plays itself out. What we call the universe is like a dream of our own mind. And all this is sustained by the very same mind. Similarly, the self, the supreme self, dwells in all, and all of them dwell in the supreme self. Lord Krishna declares in Bhagavad Gita, verse 23, chapter 10, while describing about his vibhutis, he declares, Vasunam Pavakaschasmi, among the Vasus, I am the Pavakaha. Now, the self exists like air. It allows everything to remain in it and sustains in it. But air itself is never affected by what it carries. The Supreme dwells in all the beings, but does not have any of the defects, limitations, ills of the beings. He has a supremely pure mind. It's called Vasumanaha. Vasumanaha means supremely pure mind, a great mind, a mind which is absolutely pure. It is never contaminated or polluted by passions and pains, desires and jealousies, the dvandvas, likes and dislikes. It is totally free of these things because these are the limitations of the mortal beings. These are the ones which are associated with the body, the mind, and the intellect. The Supreme is transcending all these mortal limitations. So, the Supreme Mind is absolutely pure mind, and such Supreme is the one and only reality. Satyaha. Satyaha. Satya means real. Satya means true. And Satya has very specific meaning. It's like Sat, one which remains the same in the three periods of time: the past, the present, and the future. One which existed in the distant past, one is existing now in the present, and one will continue to exist even in the distant future. Only that particular thing can be called Sat, can be called real. So, Satyam, he who remains the same before the creation, during the existence of the universe, and even after the dissolution of the great universe, only that is called truth, Satya. It is glorified in the Upanishads as Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. This is Brahma. What is Brahma means? Brahma is that which is Satyam, Jnanam, and Anantam. Satya means, as we have just seen, always existing. Jnanam is a real wisdom, ultimate wisdom. Anantam, it is endless, with neither a beginning nor an end. So that is the one which is called Brahma. Brahman is truth, knowledge, and bliss. This is what is declared in Taittiriya Upanishad. Now, that as opposite to this, that which seemingly exists now, but which was never existing in the past, nor there is no guarantee it will continue to be exist in the future, it is considered asatyam, false, a delusion. It is nothing but maya, an illusion. There are a couple of other meanings also for satya. Satya means the best among good people is called Satyam. The word Satyam is made up of three basic sounds: Sat, Ti, Yam. Sat means prana, Ti means food, Yam means good. So a combination of all these things is Satyam. Therefore, Satyam is the law which orders the food to sustain the prana. When both are blessed by the sun, the source of all energy in the cosmos, this is what is called Satyam. The Supreme Being is Samatma. He always has equal mindedness. Sama Samatma. One, he is equally in all. The Parameshwara revels equally in all, both the perishables and the imperishables. Kaushikya Upanishad says one should understand the self, one should understand that the self is the same in all. It has no partiality, it is not different. Lord Krishna in chapter 13, verse 2 says, Kshetragnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. Know me as the Kshetragna, knower in all the Kshetras. Field, Kshetra or the field represents the physical body, the mind, and the intellect. This together is what is called denoted as a Kshetra, field. The one who enlivens the Kshetra, one who knows the Kshetra, is the indweller, that is the Supreme Self, the self with capital S. He is called Kshetragnaha. Krishna says, Kshetras may be many. As many individuals are there, there will be as many bodies. So many Kshetras will be there. But in all the Kshetras, there is one and only Kshetragna who is residing in all the bodies, and that is the Supreme Being. Supreme Being is there in all the beings. He further declares in chapter 9, verse 29, Samaha aham sarva bhuteshu. It reads as Samoham sarva bhuteshu. Samoham, actually you should read as Samaha aham sarva bhuteshu. I am the same in all the beings. Name dveshya asti, name priya asti. There is none hateful to me, there is none dear to me. But those who worship me with devotion, e bhajanti tu mam bhaktya, e bhajanti tu mam bhaktya, tu means but, tu e bhajanti mam bhaktya, but those who worship me with devotion, bhaktya, mayite, I am in them, teshu chapi aham, they are in me and I am also in them. समूहं सर्वभूतेषु न मे द्वेष्योऽस्ति न प्रियः ये भजन्ति तु मां भक्त्या मयि ते तेषु चाप्यहम्. So such a supreme being who is equal, who is samaha to everybody, is naturally acceptable to one and all. It's called sammitaha. Sammitaha means acceptable. The term sammatam means acceptable, acceptability. The one truth which has been proved and accepted by the rishis in all the Upanishads through logic and philosophical reasoning is called samatma. So samatma, sammitaha is the one, sammitaha is the most direct and appealing meaning. But by combining samatma and sammitaha, we can form a compound word, samatma asammitaha. If we do that, then the name we get is asammitaha. Instead of sammitaha, we get the name asammitaha, in which case asammitaha means one who is incomparable, inimitable, atulyaha, that is one who has none equal to him. So both these ways the word can be split and pronounced, and both have acceptable meanings. He is called samaha, which means always the same. Or one more meaning is one who is always with Mother Lakshmi, ever with Lakshmi. Samaha can mean ever with Lakshmi, or it can mean equal, the same to one and all, because truth remains the same. Truth is one infinite reality which plays the game of plurality. Kathopanishad says the one principle of fire, having entered this world, burns itself out differently. It burns differently because when it is associated with different equipments, it burns differently. But the fire which is burning is one and the same. Same is true of the Supreme, who enlivens, energizes everyone in a similar manner. But each individual behaves differently because that person's internal makeup, the person's vasanas, the person's pravrutti, or we can say a person's prarabdha, whatever it is, he behaves differently only because of that, but not because the Paramatma is different. Paramatma is same to all. He gives energy. He enlivens everybody equally. Samaha can also mean, as we said, one who is ever united with Lakshmi. Sa means with. Ma means Lakshmi. Sa ma means ma with Mother Lakshmi. Samaha. Now, prayers to such a immortal, supreme being are never in vain. He is always the fulfiller of our desires and prayers. So it's called Amogaha. Amogaha means fulfiller. Mogaha means opposite. Mogaha actually means a useless fellow, a disappointing power. But Supreme is Amogaha, is exactly opposite. Not a useless fellow, is always useful, ever the fulfiller of all the wishes of his devotees. Truthful is his wish, and truth is resolve. What a grand declaration! Chandogya Upanishad. Truthful is his wish, and truth is his resolve. The Supreme is Satya Sankalpaha. Prayers made to him are never wasted, never in vain. Its exact opposite is the delusive prakriti of Rakshasas and Asuras. Now, this is also described very graphically in Bhagavad Gita, verse 12 of chapter 9. Now, it is talking of the Rakshasas and Asuras and their actions, their ideas, their behavior, and why they do like that. You can see in this verse. Moghashaha, with vain hopes. Mogha karmanaha, with vain actions. Mogha gnanaha, vain knowledge. Vichetasaha, vichetasaha, without sense, senseless. Now, possessed of the delusive prakriti of Rakshasas and Asuras. Rakshasim Asurim Chaiva Prakritim Mohinim Sritaha. So, evil minded people, foolish people, unrighteous people, because they come under the spell of the delusive Prakriti, all their hopes are vain, all their actions are vain, all their knowledge is vain and useless, and they are behaving always in a senseless manner. The exact opposite of the Supreme, who is Amogaha. We should know. In that case, we should know where to worship Him, because the praise to Him is never wasted. But how to worship Him, where to worship Him? First, we'll have to find out where He is dwelling. He is dwelling in the lotus heart of righteous beings. Pundarikakshaha, dwelling in the lotus heart, one who can be accessed and fully experienced in our own heart space, which is denoted as, described as a pundarikam. So, in the core of the body, in the heart space, dwells the Supreme. There is no point searching for Him in the external world. He is there within us. We have to look inside, not outside. If you start looking outside, we'll never find Him. You look inside, you become introspective, then you will be able to find Him. In the heart, the meditator can experience the supreme reality more readily and very clearly. The all pervading reality is described as Yat Pundarikam Puramadhya Samstatam, dwelling in the heart cave. This is also again mentioned in Narayana Upanishad. Hrut Pundarikam Virajam Vishuddham. He is staying in your own heart case. He is stainless. Virajam, absolutely pure. Vishuddham, where? Yet Hrut, Hrut Pundarikam. Hrut means heart. Pundarikam means lotus heart. So in our own lotus heart, he is there. This is mentioned in Kaivalya Upanishad. Now, such a supreme being will always do only righteous actions. Vrushakarma. Vrushakarma of righteous actions. Vrisha means dharma. One whose every activity is righteous, who acts only to establish, re-establish righteousness in this world. Lord Krishna declares in Bhagavad Gita, for the sake of establishing dharma, I am born in every age. Establishing dharma is one of the three interrelated purposes of Lord Krishna's incarnations. One is protection of the virtuous. Second is destruction of the wicked. And third is establishment of dharma. And all these three are not separate, they are interrelated. For protection of the virtuous, he has to destroy the wicked. And by destroying the wicked, by protecting the virtuous, the Supreme is able to establish or re-establish dharma. For this purpose, Lord Krishna says, I am born from age to age. This is one of the most popular verses. Paritranaya sadhunam, for protection of the virtuous. Vinashaya dushkrutam, for destruction of the wicked. Dharma samsthapanarthaya, for establishment of dharma. Sambhavami yuge yuge, I'm born from age to age. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Such compassionate being is very embodiment of dharma. Vrushakritihi, Vrusha Akritihi. He is personification of the dharma. He who is of the form of dharma, form is Akriti. Dharma is Vrisha. Dharma, Vrishakritihi, in the form of dharma. Not only the actions are righteous, but he is himself righteousness. It also means that he takes different forms during his divine incarnations, but the basic purpose is one and is only one, that is establishment, maintaining of the rule of dharma. Valmiki Ramayana declares Rama as Ramaha Vigrahavan Dharmaha. Dharma is virtue incarnate. Dharma is embodiment, personification. Rama is embodiment, personification of Dharma. Ramo Vigrahavan Dharmaha. With this, we'll conclude this verse. Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amrutangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.